Hey y'all, I have another fun project for you to use up your UFOs, your unfinished objects. I tend to have piles of unfinished watercolors or abstract paintings because I really like to just play with watercolors and, acrylics, my Posca paint pens on paper as warm-up assignments, and also to create paper for collage. So I end up with a lot of pieces that look like this or are kind of at this stage where I could take it further and turn it into a piece of art, a finished piece of art, or I could chop it up, use it in collage, or I could chop it up and turn it into a whole nother product. So what I am doing right now is I am getting ready for an art sale, and I love to sell bookmarks because I make handmade journals. And so I think it's fun to sell the bookmarks along with the journals. So I am this is a bunch of paintings that I have chopped up. Some of them will stay as they are. Some of them I will doodle on top of, which I will show you today. So first thing, I want to show you just how I go about chopping the piece up. And basically there kind of isn't any rhyme or reason. I'm lining it up on my board, and I'm actually, let me see if I'm going to, I think bookmarks, these are, yes, this is a 12 by 12 piece of paper. Bookmarks in general are like 6 inches up to taller, because you can see I've got taller ones here. And I mean, really, this is your project. You don't have to stick with like a standard size, but I do like to maximize the paper. So knowing that this is 12 by 12, I'm going to chop it in half, and I've just got a ruler, self-healing cutting mat, and this is a utility knife. And the reason I'm using a utility knife up against the ruler is it's going to give me a really straight line as opposed to scissors. And this is a very thick piece of watercolor paper that doesn't always cut super nicely with scissors when you're hand cutting with scissors. You know what I mean? Because it's like super thick. So here we are. Now it's in 2. So what I'm going to do now is I'm lining it up again on the grid, and I know I like them to be 2 inches wide. 2 inches is a good, it's a good width, and I think 2 inches is pretty kind of standard if you want to talk about standards. So I'm going to cut this whole thing into 2 inches, and I'm really not paying attention to what's happening. I mean, they're going to turn out how they turn out, right? So slicing that one, counting 2 over. And it's so, like, I love seeing how they turn out. Sometimes, like both of these look so good on their own. I think this one's going to be fun. You can kind of tell as you start. I mean, look, this is going to be fun to draw on. And it's so amazing, like, the piece as a whole, I might be stumped for ideas of how to take it further or what I want to do with it. But when you chop it down and you make them smaller, all of a sudden ideas start coming to me for things that I could doodle on top of, or, like what could I do with it? So you get the idea. I'm not going to cut this one right now because you see how it works. So now I've got a bunch more. I'm going to add that to my pile, and I'm going to show you some. So here's some that I've already doodled on. Let me see. These I can show you what they kind of previously. So this one, you can see here, these were connected. I separated them. So this one kind of looked more like that before I doodled on it. So you can see I added circles, stripes, I added dots. You just doodle on it. You just add. So this one I added just a little bit, and it just gave it a little pop. This one I added the sun and the flower, but you know, I had an extra idea. Wait, those are done. I had a little extra idea that I wanted to do to this one, so let me just show you my thought process, okay? So I drew this yellow, like sun, I'm calling it a sun on here, and I doodled this flower. Now I think it would be nice just to add a little gold. So what I'm gonna do is just fill in the centers of this leaf. Let's see, that end, I wasn't liking how that was coming out. Oh, this actually better coverage. I love dual tip pens because it gives you options. Oh, I also wanted to do this. You see how it just adds a little something, something. I know that's a silly phrase. It adds a little just extra detail that makes the piece just nicer. Just makes it nicer. I almost feel like I want to color this in gold, and sometimes I set them aside and think. I ponder. Like I just pondered, and I think I want this. I'm going to color this in the little flower. Just make the flower pop. Using the yellow because it complements what's happening at the top. I'm going to do a couple. So now I'm just thinking about balance. I'm just adding a little yellow down here because I added yellow here. Big yellow here, little touch here, little touch down here. It balances the yellow in the whole piece. I like it. Okay, let's set that little guy aside. Oh, so what I'm working with is the Posca acrylic paint pens is what I'm using. They really are fantastic. I was looking at these two. And where is that really dark? Here's that dark red. And what I think, oh, you shake them up, you know, to get them going. This red kind of feels like the red of this background that I had scraped into the piece. So I think I just wanted to add a little tiny bit extra to this piece. So you see, it's just doodling to give it a little extra something. Just filling in this area, and that adds balance. And I think I'm going to, whatever that color is, I think it's this color. So I'm going to get the bigger one. And add a little circle right here. Maybe just the line, and I'm not going to fill it in. Wonder if that is the same color. That might not be the same color. Let me try this one. I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to try this one. I think it is this one. And so I'm going to come to this one and just make this a little brighter. Ooh, that's super bright, but I like it. Which means I'm actually going to go over this and make this brighter. Ooh, I super like that. Which means I'm going to come here and do this to give, now I've got 3 happening. And you know what? I'm going to put a little of this. And I know you're like, what? This is so like, why are you putting this much work into a bookmark? Because it makes me happy and I like it. And I use my own bookmarks all the time. And, you know, it's just, whew, it's the details, y'all. The details just really do make a difference. All around. So I'm going to do the same thing on this one. Color this whole space in. Just kind of, that's the, so that's another cool part. When you cut a piece up, then you've got a bunch, you can kind of sort of do the same thing to each piece, like kind of keep them in, you know, like same style. So whatever you do to one, you can kind of do to the other one that's in the same family, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. So I like those. I like those a lot. Wonder if I have more of those in here. Let me peek real fast. I might have only had 2 because that was a tiny painting. Oh, this is fun. So here's what's cool also. When you have a massive pile of them like this, you can kind of flip through them. You know, like I can pop this one out and I can decide, is it talking to me? Do I know what I want to do with this? Not quite. This was kind of speaking to me. So what would I do here? I feel like I want to add some hot pink on some of these. So you get the idea. It's just taking work that, you know, you're not going to do anything with it. It's just going to stay in that UFO pile. Why let that UFO pile sit when you can sift through it, take that art, turn it into something else, transform it. It's transforming. So I hope this has sparked some ideas within you of what you can do with your own work, your unfinished pieces. I have another video that you can watch that I was doing an artist trading card. This is one of the trading cards I was doing an exchange with some other artists. And I did this same process. I took a piece of art, chopped it up into the card size, and traded the cards with other artists. And it was so much fun. I always enjoy doing that. Well, it's the same concept. You're just turning them into bookmarks that you can sell. You can gift these. I'm always gifting my handmade bookmarks to my friends. And they sell really well at art markets, y'all. So if you're an artist that, you know, goes to art markets and sells your work, you know, if your work is expensive and people can't afford to maybe buy a piece, this is a small way that they can take home with them a piece of your art that they can enjoy that is extremely affordable. So just giving you more creative ideas to expand your artistic toolkit. So, so check out the other video, the artist trading card. I'll link it to the end of this one. It's a great video to watch that I really go in depth with the process. So, so watch that one and you just translate it into, oh, I'll just make these into bookmarks. So happy creating, y'all.